So either the world is holy, total, unconditional, or it is unholy. There is no middle path. Tantra says everything is holy. That's why we cannot understand it. It is the deepest non-dual standpoint. If we can call it a standpoint, it is not. Because any standpoint is bound to be dual. It is not against anything, so it is not any standpoint. It is a felt unity, a lived unity. These are two paths, yoga and tantra. Tantra could not be so appealing because of our crippled minds. But whenever there is someone who is healthy inside, not a chaos, Tantra has a beauty. Then only he can understand what Tantra is. Yoga has appeal, easy appeal, because of our disturbed minds. Remember, it is ultimately your mind which makes anything attractive or not attractive. It is you who are the deciding factors. These approaches are different. I am not saying that one cannot reach through yoga. One can reach through yoga also, but not through the yoga which is prevalent. The yoga which is prevalent is really not yoga, but your interpretation of the diseased mind. Yoga can be authentically an approach towards the ultimate, but that too is only possible when your mind is healthy, your mind is not diseased and ill. Then yoga takes a different shape. For example, Mahavir is on the path of yoga, but he is not really suppressing sex, because he has known, he has lived, he is deeply acquainted with it, and it has become useless. So it drops. Buddha is on the path of yoga, but he has lived through the world. He is deeply acquainted. He is not fighting. Once you know something, you become free of it. It simply drops like dead leaves dropping from a tree. It is not renunciation. There is no fight involved at all. Look at Buddha's face. It doesn't look the face of a fighter. He has not been fighting. He is so relaxed. His face is the very symbol of relaxation. No fight. Look at your yogis. The fight is apparent on their face. Deep down, much turmoil is there. Just now they are sitting on volcanoes. You can look in their eyes, in their face, and you will feel it. Deep somewhere they have suppressed all their diseases, but they have not gone beyond. In a healthy world, where everyone is living his life authentically, individually, not imitating others, living his own life in his own way, both are possible. He may learn the deep sensitivity which transcends. He may come to a point where all desires become futile and drop. Yoga can also lead. But to me, yoga will lead also in the same world in which Tantra can lead. Remember this. We need a healthy mind, a natural man. In that world where natural man is, Tantra will also lead and yoga will also lead. In our so-called ill society, neither yoga can lead nor Tantra. Because if we choose yoga, we don't choose it because desires have become useless. No. They are still meaningful. They are not dropping by themselves. We have to force them. If we choose yoga, we choose as a technique of suppression. If we choose Tantra, we choose Tantra as a cunningness, as a deep deception to indulge. So with an unhealthy mind, neither yoga nor Tantra. They both will lead to deceptions. A healthy, particularly sexually healthy mind is needed to start with. Then it is not very difficult to choose your path. You can choose yoga. You can choose Tantra. There are two types of persons. Basically, male and female. Not biologically, psychologically. Those who are basically psychologically male, aggressive, violent, extrovert, yoga is their path. Those who are basically feminine, receptive, passive, non-violent, Tantra is their path. So, you may notice, for Tantra, Mother, Kali, Tara, and so many, Devi, Bhairavi, they are very significant. In yoga, you will never hear any name mentioned of a feminine deity. Tantra has feminine deities. Yoga, male gods. Yoga is energy outgoing. Tantra is energy moving inwards. So you can say, in modern psychological terms, yoga is extrovert and Tantra is introvert. So it depends on the personality. If you have an introvert personality, then fight is not for you. If you have an extrovert personality, then fight is for you. But we are confused, just confused. We are just a mess. That's why nothing helps. On the contrary, everything disturbs. Yoga will disturb you, Tantra will disturb you. Every medicine is going to create a new illness for you. Because the chooser is ill, deceased. His choice is ill, deceased. So I don't mean that through yoga you cannot reach. I emphasize Tantra only because we are going to understand what Tantra is. Another question. On the path of surrender, how does a seeker come to the right technique out of 112 methods? On the path of will, there are methods. These 112 methods. On the path of surrender, surrender itself is the method. There are no other methods. Remember this. All methods are non-surrendering. Because a method means depending on yourself. You can do something, the technique is there, so do it. On the path of surrender, you are no more. You cannot do anything. You have done the ultimate, the last. You have surrendered. On the path of surrender, surrender is the only method. All these 112 methods, they require a certain will. They require something to be done by you. You manipulate your energies. You balance your energies. You create a center in your chaos. You do something. Your effort is significant, basic, required. On the path of surrender, only one thing is required, you surrender. So we will go deep in 112 methods. So it is good to talk something about surrender, because there will be no methods. In these 112 methods, there will be nothing for surrender. Why Shiva has said anything about surrender? Because nothing can be said. Bhairavi herself, Devi herself, has reached Shiva not through any method. She has simply surrendered. So this must be noted. She is asking these questions not for herself. These questions are asked for the whole humanity. She has attained Shiva. She is already in his lap. She is already embraced by him. She has become one with him. But still she is asking two things. One, she is not asking for herself. There is no need. She is asking for whole humanity. But if she has attained, why she is asking Shiva? She herself can say to the humanity. She has come through the path of surrender, so she doesn't know anything about methods. She herself has come through love. Love is enough unto itself. Love doesn't need anything more. She has come through love. So she doesn't know anything about any methods, techniques. That's why she is asking. So Shiva relates 112 methods. He also will not talk about surrender. Because surrender is not a method really. You surrender only when every method has become futile. When you cannot reach from any method. You have tried your best. You have knocked every door and no door opens. And you have passed through all the routes and no route leads. You have done whatsoever you can do. And now you feel helpless. In that total helplessness, surrender happens. So on the path of surrender, no methods. But what is surrender? And how it works? And if surrender works, then what is the need of 112 methods? Then why go in them unnecessarily? The mind will say, then okay, if surrender works, then it is better to surrender. Why go hankering after methods? And who knows whether this method will suit you or not. And it may take lives to find out. So it is good to surrender, but it is difficult. It is good. It is difficult. It is the most difficult thing in the world. Methods are not difficult. They are easy. You can train yourself. But for surrender you cannot train yourself. No training. You cannot ask how to surrender. The very question is absurd. Can you ask how to surrender? Can you ask how to love? Either there is love or there is not. But you cannot ask how to love. And if someone tells you and teaches you how to love, remember, then you will never be capable of love. Once a technique is given to you for love, you will cling to the technique. That's why actors cannot love. They know so many techniques, so many methods. And we are all actors. Once you know the trick how to love, then love will not flower. Because you can create a facade, a deception. And with the deception, you are out of it, not involved. You are secured. Love is going totally open. Vulnerable. It is dangerous. You become insecure. We cannot ask how to love. We cannot ask how to surrender. It happens. Love happens, surrender happens. Love and surrender are deeply one. But what it is? And if we cannot know how to surrender, at least we can know how we are maintaining ourselves from surrendering. How we are resisting ourselves from surrendering. That can be known, and that is helpful. How you have not surrendered yet. What is your technique of non-surrendering? If you have not fallen in love yet, then the real problem is not how to love. The real problem is to dig deep how you have lived without love. What is your trick? What's your technique? What's your structure? Defense structure. How you have lived without love. That can be understood, and that should be understood. So first thing, we live with the ego, in the ego, centered in the ego. I am. Without knowing who I am, I go on